here we are up here on stage waving the flag of spiritual marketing. So we thought we'd also just take a moment and talk about old and new paradigm and what we see as some of the distinctions between the two, and to potentially offer you a frame to hold that. Totally up to you, but a potential frame. And I went to business seminars, right? I used to work for Microsoft. Yeah.
I'm sorry, says someone in the audience.
It served me very well. It did.
He can do anything tech. I mean, it's beautiful.
And lo and behold, about 2005, the floor dropped out of it for me. Just in my heart, you know. I had been really successful in my career, and I knew it was done. And that was really scary. I live in San Francisco. I live here, right? It's not a cheap place to live. And I was like, okay. And found out about this thing called coaching. And every time I talked about it with my friends, they're like, yeah, Jeffrey, you should do that. You'd be great at that. Okay, great, good. Tell the next person. You know, I met this person, they used this thing called a coach, and blah, blah. Oh yeah, Jeffrey, you'd be great at that. Oh, cool, thanks. Right? After maybe a dozen of these conversations, it was like, oh, maybe I should look into that. Right? So I did, and I got trained as a coach, and you know, they train you to be able to coach anybody on anything, which is great for sort of a bachelor's degree, but it's not a master's or a PhD that puts you in a specific direction. So I went out to go be a coach. And I have this handy-dandy skill set. And everybody said, oh, you're so great at this. You'll be super successful. Right? And I'm like, okay, great. But why wasn't it happening? You know? I knew I had this gift, and no one really seemed to show up. And I couldn't articulate really what the value of it was. You know, just knew I was kind of good at this thing. And went to business seminars, and everybody started talking about this thing called a niche, which we call a niche. And everybody said things like, well, just pick a place to target, right? What have you done in the past? Well, I've been a cabaret singer and actor. Really fun. I've worked at Microsoft in technology. I've been a school teacher, and I used to work for an NPR station as a recording engineer. Okay, so you could serve artists and singers, you could serve technology people, or you could serve teachers. Which one would you like? None of it fit, right? Like, none of it. And I was like, oh, but like, you know, I have this big spiritual life, so I'll be a spiritual coach. But I was like, I don't even know what a spiritual coach is, right? And like, does that mean I help people learn how to meditate? Like, what, you know? So I kind of bashed around a bit, trying to find my way. And everything, you know, we overheard Sage talking at the beginning about this outside-in approach, and none of it fit in sort of the old paradigm. And then I went to go get sales training. Right? Got to learn how to sell this thing that I don't know what it is. Right?
Is any of this sounding familiar?
So...
Because if you just have a sales training, everything will be fine, right?
Yeah. So I go to these sales trainings and learn how to sell this thing that I don't know what it is, and I have to do things like, well, I have to talk about the value, but I don't know what that is, so I have to make it up. Well, what things might they get from this thing? You know? Have your clients ever talked about what they get from it?
Yeah, maybe they know what niche
Maybe they know, right? And I sent a bunch of emails out to them. I did. I'm like, tell me, what did you get from it? Because you've paid me, so you must have gotten something. So I go and do my research, try to find out from my clients what they get from it so that I can try to paste it out on the web and like paste it on to like, this is what you'll get, I promise. But I couldn't promise. I couldn't stand behind it because I didn't experience it. You know?
That's the heartbreak. Do you know? The heartbreak is that you are not able to deliver your full gifts just because you don't know what they are yet.
So, fast forward some years, had the deep, deep privilege of being mentored and becoming a colleague with Tim Kelly. And Heather, are you in the room? There's his
Yay.
wife. Hello, my
We
dear.
loved him.
Probably, I won't say probably, the most transformational experience I've ever had in my life. And all I can say is I learned my value. I also happen to learn my purpose and really understand what I'm up to in life. And then fast forward a few more years, and Spirit introduces me to Suzanne. Right? And meanwhile, Suzanne was building these platforms, seeing people not really live into them. And it's funny, once I started working with Suzanne, I would see her like pull out of the ether almost brands and taglines, which we call USPs, and really build a whole business, and people would be like, oh.
Half my clients were able to take them and run with them. Pam Slim, Shema Hyder. I mean, there's been a lot of people who built million-dollar businesses off these platforms. The other people,
They get scared
it's
by
like
'em.
deer in the headlights, you know? That's how the experience was. And I'm like, Spirit, you got to show me some way to help these people who are afraid of these platforms, because I don't think I know how to do that, which I didn't. In Jeffrey.
So, you know, we'll get into this more as this day goes on in terms of the actual content that relates to this, because many people see it, and when they really see that they could be successful in the world, it scares the bejesus out of them, because they're going to be seen. And all those little nooks and crannies are going to have the light shown on them.
And that's what the old new paradigm conversation is about. Because unless you make that translation into how you are here to grow in your business, you can't fully deliver your business. You know, it's like we're asking you to do that thing that is passionate as hell for you and really uncomfortable. Both joyful and like, we're asking you to open up and not do it alone, but to do it with your spiritual guidance. Very different from old paradigm marketing.
See, when we're scared of all the little nooks and crannies, our shadow, for those of you who speak that language, if we want to sell anything, we have to paste over top of it. So you go to sales trainings, I did this, and you learn how to manipulate your clients, try to convince or cajole them. I've been in seminars where the people up here essentially try to get everyone in the audience to lose their mind for a moment and run to the back of the room and buy something before they've even thought of it.
Take mine.
Right? So it's all saying like your clients don't actually know enough and you know better than them. So you just have to convince them or manipulate them or cajole them or somehow drag them kicking and screaming to buy your stuff. And once they do, you're golden. Right? And one of the things we could do is talk about the old paradigm as something evil and wrong.
Who wants to do that, though? I mean, come on.
Because then we're just in the same conversation of it.
Yeah.
The beauty of the old paradigm is it's delivered to us something new. Right? This new paradigm thing of loving your clients and marketing to them with love.
And loving yourself in the process.
Is actually the gift of the old paradigm. It's what it's delivered. So we can honor the old paradigm, however we see it or know it, because without it, we wouldn't know anything else. So that's a frame we're going to hold and invite you to hold throughout this weekend. That throughout this weekend, we aren't really pointing at anything as bad or wrong. Instead, we're just noticing the inspiration for something new to spring forth and answering that call.
We're here to invite you to market with intelligence and love and heart instead of control, manipulation, and competition. We call your competitors your niche mates, and tonight there will be a little homework for you to get to know your niche mates. Your niche mates have beautifully made the bed for you to lie in. They have prepared your market for you. They have shown where the gaps are that you could fit into. They have invited you to join them in their ranks, and your invitation to them can be to join you on your path. So the whole thing is based on love. Love for yourself, love for your market, love for the people that you've decided you're going to be generous enough to really share yourself with.
It's also based on telling the truth.
Yeah.
Right?
Right on.
The truth that's hard to tell sometimes, and the truth that may be hard to hear sometimes. Because it's almost like a sword that cuts through. And one of the things we'll go through later is there are now over 500 million blogs online. And there's a Canadian study that says people decide within a 20th of a second whether they stay or go on a website.
There's like a visceral reaction people have that's really pre-mental. You know, you can't process that fast, so it's just like, I want it, or
right.
I don't want it. So what makes that, I want it? Well, we say it's the presence of love.
Yeah.
Love for oneself, to be able to craft out this beautiful platform and really believe. You know, when you walk into a store, there was this great little bookstore in Key West I went to once. I've never forgotten it, and I did a book signing there in 1991 or something, years ago. I've never forgotten it because it was so full of love. And you just walked in and you just felt like, I never want to leave. And there was like a little place to have tea and read, and there was, a channeler in the back who kind of drifted in and out, and it was Key West, so the shutters were open and the birds were kind of flying in and out, and it was just magical. The place was full of love. That can be your business too. You really know it. You really know it when you see those places. And it's all about your ability to give that to yourself first, and then give that to your people.
The other piece is this truth piece. When you translate it into the language of your ideal clients so that they can hear it, it just goes whoosh.
Amen.
Right? When the right people see it, when you really tell the truth and don't sort of, well, I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to say that, and I'll tuck this away, and all that's left is this sort of, Wonder Bread. Kind of vapid, right? Then it doesn't hit. It kind of lands as just like soft and mushy and like, pfft. But when you really tell the truth and don't leave those critical pieces out, then it goes, poof. So that when the right person, the person you have a karmic connection with, sees this thing, they go, whoa, that's me they're talking to. Like, not like, oh, I think I might be able to use it. No, that's me they're talking to. I've been waiting for that person. I don't know how my mouse found it to click. But something, Spirit led this little finger, I don't know, but.
Just close your eyes for a minute and just feel what's there for you as you think about the possibility of living into this beautiful, beautiful guided work that you're here to do.
There's something that called you, not just to this seminar or our work, but to your work, to your truth. Something that says, there are people in this world waiting for me. I can feel them. I know them. This weekend is simply a commitment to walk up to their doorstep and say hello.